Okay, guys. Now I hope everybody seeing my screen. Okay. Yes, screen is visible. So I hope my voice is also clear. So let's begin, guys. Today we are going to see cell organelles, the important part of cells. This is going to help you a lot in your higher classes. Okay. So if you want to get a grip in biology, you should know all of these things clearly. Okay, these are the very basic thing you need to learn in order to learn biology. Okay, as we for learning mathematics, what we did actually, we have started learning tables and all those things, right? So now you guys are learning biology from the starting point. So you have to learn the basic things of biology cleanly, so that you can able to relate the the topics of higher classes also. This is the one of the basic part. Okay, and these plays a major role in the function of the cell. Okay, these are the one who makes the cell to work. Okay, everything will happens because of cell organelles. The function of the cell, totally, if you see, this is a cell. The function of this cell is happens because of its members. Okay, suppose your family, you have a family, right? So your family works properly, it's because of every member of the family, right? Every member of the family, if they work properly, then family will move smoothly and works properly. Okay, there will be not. If something, any ambiguity between any member, what happens? The function of the family get disturbed. Okay, suppose your mother get upset, and if she doesn't prepare your food, what happens? If your mother doesn't prepare your food, what happens? Everybody get affected because of they won't get food, right? So if any cell organelle get infected, so it affects directly on the function of this cell. Okay, function of this cell is totally dependent on the cell organelles, because these are the one who runs the cell. It's like a company. Say if it is a company, lakhs together employees will be there, right? They are the parts of this company, and these are the employees who are running this company. The function of the company is ultimately a function of employers. So the total function of this cell is totally dependent upon the cell organelles. But let us now, till now we have studied about types of cells, prokaryotic, eukaryotic. Okay, so but we didn't came across what is there inside the cell, and we already studied that cell is the one which build the cell organism. Multi-million cells, when they combine and they form an organism, we know that. But what all of the things are there inside the cell, do we know that? We don't know that. So in this part we are going to discuss about the members of the cell. Before that, I wanted to give clarification regarding two important things. Here two important words. The first word is organ. You should know the difference between these two, organ, and the second word I am going to point here, organelle. So what is the difference between them? What is the difference? Here organ is nothing but, so it is made up of millions of cells. When millions of cells combines each other, they produce a tissue. Okay, when these numbers of tissues combines and they produces organ. Okay, so this organ is a made up of a tissue, and further tissue is made up of cell. It's like a guys, it's like if your home is there, right? So are you going to have a single room in home? So your home will be divided into kitchen, puja room, bedroom, okay, hall and toilet, right? So here, so how this each rooms are called as organ. If you talk about in this case, each rooms are called as one part organ of this house. They are organ of this house here. So hall is also one organ, toilet is also one organ, because they perform their specific function. Kitchen performs its specific function. The food is going to form here, and bedroom performs its specific function. You guys are going to sleep here, and hall performs it's just a meeting with your family members or your guests which are going to happen here, and this bathroom and everything will be having, right? So puja will take place in bathroom. We are going to take a bath, and in toilet we are going to use it for the toilet purpose. Okay, but if you see, ultimately all these rooms are made up of walls. Okay, all rooms are made up of walls here. All rooms are made up of walls, and these walls are ultimately made up of bricks. Okay, as here bricks we have, in organ we have a cell. Cell is the one when multiple cells they combine. Here walls are like but nothing but tissue here. Okay, when number of walls combines, here we have a 4 walls here. These 4 walls are constituting this room. Means if you have an organ, so you are going to find number of tissues. Okay, when number of tissues combined and they form an organ. So I hope you understand. Organ is a collection of tissues. Further tissues are collection of Mallikarjun. Yes, tell me. Huh. One minute, guys. Okay, organ and organelles. I hope you understood the difference between organ and angra. So, but organelles are, so these are members of a cell. Organelles are members of a cells. Okay, so these members, organelles constitutes a cell. Okay, so organelles is nothing but these are the members of cell. Organ is nothing but it is made up of cell ultimately. I hope you understand this. Okay, let's move further here. So today we are going to discuss various members of cells. We are going to discuss various members of cells like nucleus. It is a one of the member as we saw in the diagram of the cell. Let's say mitochondria. So it is a one of the member of the cell. And let's say endoplasmic reticulum. Let's say we are going to see Golgi bodies. You can also call these guys are a Golgi apparatus. Let's say vacuoles. Well, we found a very big vacuole in the plant cell, right? About that, and we missed our important liquid, that is cytoplasm. And many other things. Let's say centrioles, which are present in only animal cell. So let's say plastids, which are present only in plant cell. Let's say lysosomes, both. Ribosomes, important one. Etc. etc. We do have a lot of things, and we already covered cell wall and plasma membrane. They are also members of a cells only. Okay, So in this chapter, in this session, we are going to cover the structure of all these cell organelles. Mainly we cover structure and their functions. Structure and their functions. Okay, be in a line, guys. Don't go out of the meeting. Watch the class cleanly till the end. Okay, so we are going to make a crystal clear on cell organelles. You are going to get a crystal clear idea about cell organelles and their structures and functions. Okay, let's begin. So first we will see the nucleus. Okay, structure of the nucleus, how it looks like, what is the function of the nucleus. These are all the things we are going to cover. Let's discuss this now. Here you can see I have given two import diagrams over here. I hope you are able to see this diagram. Okay, here I have given this is a normal nucleus structure. Okay, suppose if you have a cell like this, your nucleus will be located at the center in the animal cell, right? This ball like structure, when you zoom out it, you will find this kind of structure. Okay, so first let us understand how to draw this. Simple, guys, just take a ball like structure. Here let's draw a ball, a very big ball like structure like this, and inside that you can make like this. If you want to see cross sectional view what is there inside, we have to cut it, right? We have to cut that ball. When you cut this, you can see what is there inside. Inside you will find a one dense structure, and you will also find a liquid over there. You will also find liquid. So liquid is filled inside this nucleus. So we'll see what we call for that liquid. Okay, definitely you will find this liquid, and you are able to see when you cut this, you are able to see so two layers here. Two layers. Okay, when you cut this like this, you have to draw two layers you are going to see, and inside this along with the dense structure you will find a thread like structures like this. Thread like structures, the continuous thread like structures like this, a completely tangled thread like structures, winded thread like structures. See, like this thread like structures you are going to find inside this. Okay, so this is how we draw diagram. Draw a circle neatly, you're going to get this much is enough. And you will also see in this, you will also find a small hole like structures here, small holes on this covers. Okay, guys, now you see here it is the outer layer. When I cut that, I am able to see the thing which is inside, what is there inside the ball. See, this outer layer has a holes I told you here. These holes are called as, in biology for holes we call it as a pores. Pores nothing but holes. Okay, these are the holes present on the nuclear membrane, that's why they have got name called as nuclear pores. Nuclear pores. And this outer cover I told you, right, two layers you are going to see here, right? So this outer cover, the envelope which is filled, the envelope is going to be, this is going to be your nuclear membrane. So nuclear membrane, I already told you what is the membrane and the structure of the membrane. So nuclear membrane is nothing but nuclear membrane, plasma membrane, both, everything is same. Membrane is nothing but a outer cover. Membrane is nothing but a outer cover. We already studied about that. Okay, in the cell membrane and plasma membrane concept, both are same. And there we already came across the functions of the membrane, that is osmosis and diffusion, and the structure of the membrane also we have covered, okay, in the last session. Okay, if you want to see that, so I have uploaded that video on YouTube. You can go and watch there by in the name of osmosis process. So there you can find out. Okay, so let's begin here. So these are nuclear pores, and here it is a nuclear membrane, and you are seeing a dense structure here, right? A very highly dense structure. See, I hope you are able to see this. This dense structure is called as nucleolus. Nucleolus, which has a chemical required for the preparation of ribosomes. That means nucleolus is the one which produces ribosomes, you can say. So ribosome is again a chemical, it is again made up of chemicals, and the chemical required for manufacturing ribosome is usually present in the nucleolus. And you can also see, I told you fluid like structure, I told you, right? The fluid like structure is present inside the ball. So that fluid what we have is called as the nucleoplasm. Plasma means it is not clearly water, it is highly viscous in nature. It's like a gum like structure. Gum, jelly substance. Okay, I hope you are getting. And these thread like structures, completely winded tangled thread like structures, what we call, those are called as chromatins. And these are the one which contains genetic information. And see guys, you can also see here the structure I have taken here, ultrastructure of the nucleus. So you can find here, so this one what we have, this is the hole. I told you, right? Nuclear pore, and the substances will enter through this hole into the nucleus, and substances will come out of this through pores only. So it is a gate like structure where the subject will enter into cell, and where the substances will comes out of the cell. That is what. Okay, and you can also find here the completely tangled winded structure here. You can also see here, this is completely winded structure here, right? So this is what we call it as chromatin. Okay, we'll see this chromatin, what is the chromatin, and what is the importance of chromatin, and what is its function also. That we will see in the later part. Let's just understand the structures first. What is this chromatin, how it looks like? It's a thread like structure. See how it is looking like. It's a thread, continuous thread which is winded, tangled clearly. And you can also see here dense like structure. So I told you, right, this dense like structure, it is a 2D diagram. It is 2D and it is 3D. Anything you can draw. You can draw this one or you can draw this one. It is up to you. Okay, this is nucleolus here we have. This is cross sectional view, and this is top view, 2D view. Okay, so here we have chromatin fibers. See, all of these are chromatin fibers. Perinuclear space, the space between this, here what we have, this normal space, here the space. Okay, this is the space what we have inside the nuclear membrane. Two membranes are there. Inside that we have the space between the two membrane is called as perinuclear space, and this gap we have here, we can find it is annulus and inner membrane. And for you, for 9th class, you don't worry about these two words. Okay, for 9th class you don't worry about these two words. Remaining you can see. Yes, here they are showing you, right? This is outer structure. The blue color structure is your nuclear envelope, and this yellow color dense like structure is nucleolus, and the fluid which is filled inside it, nucleoplasm. And here we can see nuclear pore. Inside this fluid you will find a thread like structures like this, completely tangled thread like structures. Those are called as chromatins. And one more thing I wanted to clear you guys here, this thread like structures we have, right? So some thread like structure, let me remove this so that you will understand. Okay, here only I will show you. Suppose these thread like structures, how they are actually. So thread-like structures, there are two ends we can see here, this end and this end. Okay, so we can see here we have divided chromatins into two types. So the middle one, what we have, this middle part of the chromatin is called as euchromatin. Euchromatin. And the rear end, which is the end towards the nucleoplasm, here you can see the end towards the nucleoplasm is called as heterochromatin. Heterochromatin. So about these guys you will study in a structure of the chromosomes. When we see structure of the chromosome, actually chromosomes looks like this. And this is the centromere, which is holded all the chromatids. Here you are going to find two chromatids. Okay, this end what we have, these rear ends, these two ends are called as heterochromatins, and this middle portion is called as euchromatins. Chromatid is nothing but a chromatin only. Okay, two chromatins. You are going to get a clear idea about it when we start learning structure of the chromosome. I hope you understood this information. Okay, let's list out all of them. Okay, let's list out all of them now. I hope you are able to draw this diagram. So just 2D diagram is nothing but you can draw like this. I'll just show you 2D diagram how to draw. Just draw like this structures continuously. Here these are the pores we have. Draw like circle like this. So where we can have pores. So here these are the pores we have. Annulus, like this we have pores. Okay, you connect them here like this. Okay, these are the pores. Inside that you draw one dense structure which contains the chemical which is needed for the preparation of ribosomes. Yes, which is filled up with the liquid called nucleoplasm. Just draw that. And it has a untangled branch like structures like this, chromatins. The chromatins towards the nucleus are called as euchromatins. Chromatin present towards the membrane are called as heterochromatin. Like this you can draw, guys. Okay, I hope you understood how to draw this diagram. I hope you understood both the diagrams. Let's see, put out all of these members and we will see their functions. What is their function actually? Here first one here, nuclear pore. It is a pores present on nuclear membrane, or you can also call this as a nuclear envelope or membrane. Nuclear membrane, you can also call it as a envelope. Okay, and what is its function? It just gives a passage for the in and out of the substances to the, just gives a passage to the in and out of substances into the nucleus or out of the nucleus, into nucleus or out of the nucleus. This is what the function. And next one here we have nuclear membrane. So just there for giving a protection. Just it packs the organelles in a perfect place. Here this nucleoplasm, chromatins, and this nucleolus are packed by the nuclear. It's just there for the protection. It is outer cover of the nucleus. And you can also see in this nuclear membrane you can find the pores, right? So that's why this membrane is porous in nature, because it has a holes on it. It is porous in nature. And what is its function? Its function is to protect. Its function is to protect. Function is to protect the members of the nucleus. And the third important here, that is nucleoplasm. It's a jelly-like substance. It's a jelly-like substance. Jelly-like substance filled inside the nucleus. Okay, which contains and we have embedded the nucleolus in it. Okay, and the fourth important point here, that is nucleolus. This yellow like structure, what we call, what we see here, that is nucleolus, a very dense structure. So it's a dense structure and ball like structure. It's a spherical structure, ball like structure, dense structure, a dense ball like structure, you can also say. Dense structure present inside the cell, inside the nucleus, structure inside the nucleus. I already told you its function, which contains a chemical which is required for the formation of ribosomes. So that's why I can say nucleus is a site of preparation for the nucleolus. It's a site of it synthesizes. Synthesize means something is preparing here, कुछ तो बना रहा है. Synthesize means manufacturing, preparing, manufacturing, or you can say preparing. So what they are synthesizing? Nucleolus is synthesizing the ribosomes. That means, so here from the nucleolus, ribosomes will produce, they will synthesize a chemical made up of chemical compounds, and this ribosome will come out of this nuclear pore. This ribosomes will come out of the nuclear pore. Once they come out, and they will stick on the structure which is nearer to the nucleus, we will see that in the endoplasmic reticulum. They will come out. And what is the function of the ribosome here? So ribosomes, the main function of the ribosome is to manufacture the protein. What they do, they synthesize the protein. They synthesize a protein, that is translation process will take place here. Two processes are there. Transcription, that is formation of DNA to RNA, is called as transcription. Using DNA you are going to form RNA, that is called as transcription. And once we got RNA, using RNA we prepare protein. This process is called as translation process. So in protein synthesis, two things will happen: transcription and translation. You must remember this. Okay, so these all the functions will happens inside the nucleus. Okay, I hope you understood about nucleus. Okay, and one more important here, guys, the last structure, important structure, that is chromatin. Okay, I hope you copied this. I'll remove this part. Okay, this much space is enough for me. Okay, so the last important thing here, chromatin. I already told you two types of chromatins, heterochromatin and euchromatin. Here you are going to get a clear idea about chromatin in the structure of the chromosomes, and which is not there for you guys. It is there for ICSE 10th, and it is there for first PUC. So anyhow, I am gonna upload a video of this cell division and cell chromosome structure. You can watch there if you want to know about chromatin and its functions. So here it is simple. Chromatin is a thread-like structure. Inside the nucleus, and it appears. So this is very important point. You should remember. So when we see chromatin, it appears only when cell is taking rest. Cell is in resting phase, means cell is not dividing. See here, if cell is dividing itself into produce two new cells, in that case you are not going to see chromatins, because these chromatins will be converted into chromosomes and we are going to divide that chromosome. During the cell division process, chromatins are not going to appear. Why? Because those chromatins itself we have converted into chromosomes. Okay, when cell division stops, you are going to see chromatin. Yes, if I want to show you just a cell cycle, if I show you cell division cycle, see, cell cycle looks like this, and it has divided into phases. This is M phase, that is mitotic phase. This is division phase. Okay, and here we have G1 phase, S phase, and G0 phase. This whole phase. So in this much of space only you are going to find, you are not going to see the chromatins. Whereas in this much space, in G1 phase, G0 phase, that means 98% of the lifetime here, 98% of time you are going to see chromatin. Because this what we have, it is called as the interphase, and this is the cell resting phase of the cell. During the resting phase of the cell, because cell is not going to divide here, so from this point cell is not dividing, it is preparing for the division. Okay, which is not dividing. When the preparing for the division completes here, when it ends into the M phase, the cell will start divide. When as a cell starts its division, so you are not going to see chromatin. In place of the chromatin, you are going to see chromosomes. Let's see chromosomes. Next important point, chromosomes. Okay, these are also, both are genetic material only. They contain DNA. Okay, in chromatin also we have a DNA. In chromosome also you are going to see DNA. Okay, so when cell division starts, chromatins will combine. Chromatins will combine and form a rod-like structure. Combines and forms a rod-like structure. Rod-like structure called chromosome. Structure called chromosome. How they look like? The two strands of the chromatids you are going to present here. This will be a centromere, which is holding two chromatins. Here untangled chromosomes like this. Here initially we had like this, right? When it enters into the G2 phase, what happens? This untangle enters into M phase. What we will do, now it is not possible to divide. So what we will do, we will untangle it. So once we untangle, we will get these like of structure, and condensation will start here. Condensation means these two will come closer to each other, and these two chromatins, Okay, now they are divided, right? We can call them as a chromatids. Chromatids. This is chromatid 1, this is chromatid 2, nothing but chromatin. Okay, these two will be holded tightly. When condensation finish, they form like this. Okay, actually these are the chromatins only. When cell starts division, the chromatins will they wind each other and they form a rod like structure, condense each other. Chromatins will condense each other and they form a rod like structure called as chromosomes. When cell division finishes, again chromosomes will be converted. At this phase, what happens? Again the chromosomes are converted back into chromatin. Here we will going to have these kind of chromosomes, right? They are again converted back into branch like structures like this. Okay, again preparation will takes till this end of the G0 phase. You are going to see these kind of chromatin. You are going to see everywhere. You are going to see chromatin. This is what. If you want to see this, if you want to learn this clearly, I am going to upload this video this Sunday to my YouTube channel, where I am going to discuss about all these cell division and the structure of the chromosomes. You can watch there. I hope you understood. Okay, so here chromatins are just the thread like structures. So these appears during the resting phase of the cell, resting phase, and when cell starts dividing, these chromatins will combine and they form a rod like structure called a chromosome. Chromosomes are rod like structure. How they look like? Yes, like this. You can also have like this. We can also have like this. The various types, structure types of chromosomes are there. Those also we are going to discuss in the structure of the chromosome. Metacentric, telocentric, acrocentric, like that, depending upon the position of the centromere. I hope you understood till now. Okay, let's go to the next topic. Okay, next important organelle we are going to discuss is mitochondria. Okay, see guys, we call mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. First important point you should remember, mitochondria is called as a powerhouse of a cell. Powerhouse of a cell. And this mitochondria is made up of two membranes. It is also membranous. See here guys, one thing I wanted to give you clarification here. So some we have organelles, two types of organelles we have in a cell, that is membranous organelles, and we do have non-membranous organelles. We do have non-membranous organelles. I will tell you what you mean by membranous and non-membranous. So membranous means organelles which are covered up with the outer cover. See here example mitochondria. See, mitochondria is covered up with the two membranes here. This is one membrane outer and this is second membrane. Okay, inside this here the things which are present here. Okay, these are the two membranes. Here outer membrane is simple and the inner membrane is folded here. They have folded into deeply folded, say, which has folded clear. In order to increase the surface area, inner membrane is folded. Like that, if you see the nucleolus, we saw two membranes, right? Outer cover. This is outer cover, which is inside the thing. We have covered it. Okay. So like that, Golgi bodies, they will also have a membranes. So if you want to see non-membranous organelles means, so these are not going to have a outer cover. They will not have a membrane. Membrane is absent. If the cell organelles doesn't have membrane, we call them as a non-membranous cell organelles. If cell organelles have a membrane, we call them as a membranous organelle. Example for the non-membranous, ribosomes we have, right? Ribosomes doesn't have the membrane. Okay, we do have different lot of things also, but you just remember membranous means, membranous organelles means they are going to have a membrane. Non-membranous organs means they are not going to have a membrane. I hope you understood. Here mitochondria is a membranous and it contains two membranes. Mitochondria has two membranes. Two membrane. Okay, one is outer membrane. You can see here this dark. Okay, let me make it black color here. This layer what we have, this layer wall like structure here we can find, right? This layer is called as your outer membrane. It is outer cover. Here he has shown you outer membrane. Okay, and this thing what we have, this colors layer which we have folded, deeply folded. Here we have folded this. Okay, you can see, you can able to see this. Right, this is your inner membrane. And you, one more thing I didn't show you in the diagram, they are not visible. So in the outer membrane you are going to find small holes. Holes are present on the surface of the outer membrane. That's why the outer membrane is called as porous. Porous in nature. Why? Because it has a pores in it. Because the things has to enter, right? If oxygen coming out, so oxygen has to enter here. So to make a passage for the entrance of the oxygen, and after the respiration carbon dioxide will produce inside the mitochondria, that has to go out. For this purpose again membranes are there, membranes will perform a diffusion process. So to make give the passage for the entrance of the oxygen and passage for the exit of the carbon dioxide, outer membrane has a holes in it. Porous in nature means it has a holes. It has a holes on it. Holes on it. I hope you understood. Okay, and the second membrane is, that is inner membrane. You can see here. So this inner membrane is deeply folded. It's a very thin layer and it is deeply folded into cristae, deeply folded into compartments, folded into, I'll say cristae. Cristae is nothing but, see here, this is one compartment. You can see here, this one, this is one compartment. Here, this is one fold. See here, we can see like this, so many folds we can see. So each fold is called as cristae. Each folds are called as cristae. Here you are able to see, this is one cristae, one fold. From here to here one, here to here one. Okay, so why the inner membrane is deeply folded? Because the respiration process will take place, that is breaking of glucose molecule, that is C6H12O6, breaking of glucose molecule and producing a ATP, that is energy. This respiration process takes place inside the cell, which needs a lot of space. So to offer the heavy space, to increase the surface area, so we have what has happened, inner membrane has deeply folded into cristae. Why? It to increase the surface area, to increase surface area for the work. So inner membrane is surface area, inner membrane is deeply folded. Okay, what is this cristae? These are the compartments. Here you can see, here cristae is nothing but inner membrane is compartmentalized into cristae. Here inner deeply folded, inner membrane is deeply folded and it is compartment. Here you can see, this is one compartment, this is one cristae. Okay, inner membrane is compartmentalized. Membrane is compartmentalized. As into cristae. One. It's say in a train bogie. So this is bogie number 1, bogie number 2, bogie number 3, like that, right? So compartments like that. Inner membrane is we have folded and we have made a different compartments. You can able to see that also here in this structure. You can see that also here. If you want to see cristae here, so this is what we have here, this part. So this is our one cristae, C1. You can see from here to here, you can see this is one compartment we can see here. This is cristae C2, this is C3, and here you can see C4. I hope you understand about the cristae. Okay guys, so but how to draw this diagram? And here we have the fluid. You can see here the blue color fluid. So this fluid is called as matrix. It is the fluid which is filled inside the nucleus. And here I will show you some more structures. In the mitochondria, mitochondria has its own DNA. It has its own DNA. Okay, it has its own DNA. Okay, this is the one organelle of animal cell which has its own DNA. In plant cell, plastids are there. They also have their own DNA. And these are the one, they have their own ribosomes also. They can synthesize the protein. Okay, they have their own ribosomes. See, you can see there's a ball-like structures. Ribosomes are also present here. Ribosomes. And DNA is there. That is genetic material. So that so this mitochondria will decide it's a function of mitochondria is that it will also take part in the division process, cell division process, which helps the cell division process also, because it has DNA, right? So which helps in the cell division. Then here the main function of the DNA is to produce energy. The main function of the DNA is the main function, if you talk about function, is to produce energy by splitting a C6H12O6, that is glucose molecule. Here it produces ATP. Here you can see this. So energy is called as ATP here. So let's say this is ATP molecules. So ATP means what? I'll tell you. ATP means ATP. Here this is called as your ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. It is also kind of chemical. So this is the energy. Okay, because of adenosine triphosphate only I am speaking, you guys are listening, so you guys are writing. So because if you don't have energy, you can't do. So the production of energy takes place in the mitochondria, and the energy produced by the mitochondria is very high, and the production of this ATP molecule will also happens in the muscle cells, but the amount of energy is very less, okay, produced during that. And so that I can say this is the one the function, important function is to produce ATP. So how it produces ATP? By undertaking cellular respiration. Cellular respiration happens inside the DNA. Cellular respiration happens inside the DNA. So especially aerobic respiration, there are two types of respiration. So one is aerobic respiration, that means respiration happens in presence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration. One more is there, respiration happens in absence of oxygen, that is anaerobic respiration. Respiration means, so using the so we are going to do, so C6H12O6, this is the glucose is there, right? We are going to cut down that glucose and we have to produce the energy. Respiration process is the process of conversion of C6H12O6 into ATP molecule, which takes place in the mitochondria. I hope you understood this, guys. Okay, so the functions of mitochondria you understood, which has its own DNA and ATP molecules, and this is the structure. I hope you understood everything. Okay, let's go to the next structure what we have. Okay, next important thing we are going to see here. Okay, so here we are going to see the endoplasmic reticulum, the very important structure. We are going to see endoplasmic reticulum. And I forgot to explain you how to draw the diagram of mitochondria. Let's finish that first. Okay, here I will show you how to draw mitochondria first. Simple, follow guys, follow my steps, how I do. So it's simple, very easy to draw. Let's draw like this structure first. From here you take upside, you connect these two things. Okay, then you take, from here you take a closely like this. Okay, connect over here. So here you can make holes. So this is our outer membrane. You can say it is outer. So I have drawn one membrane, and I told you DNA has a two membranes. Let's draw the inner membrane. So you know, right, inner membrane is deeply folded. Let's fold like this. This is my inner membrane. Like this you can make it. Here you can draw like this. It's a very easy diagram. Okay, inside this we have a liquid. So that is matrix. Fill that matrix. Okay, here you can draw ATP molecules like this, and draw ribosomes like this, and you draw my DNA like this, double helical model DNA. This is our DNA. So this is our ribosomes. So ribosomes are present means, so they are going to synthesize proteins. Let's draw protein molecule like this. So protein, that it also contains lot of enzymes. Enzymes means proteins are the enzymes, right? So DNA contains lot of protein also, because it needs these proteins in order to convert C6H12O6 into ATP. Okay, it needs that. It needs a lot of enzymes. So those will help in the process of conversion of glucose into ATP molecule. And we can also see this is our inner membrane. Inner membrane, and inner membrane is compartmentalized here. This each compartment is called as cristae. Only this much you can draw. It's very easy diagram. I hope you understood this. Let's see the next cell organelle we have, that is endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. So before getting into the structure, I'll just show you how to draw this diagram. You can draw 2D diagram like this. Just draw a cell nucleus like this. You first draw a cell nucleus. So 2D diagram. Okay, in cell nucleus. So endoplasmic reticulum is immediately after the cell nucleus. It is folded like this. It is a tubule-like structure. Continuously folded microtubules are there here. It's a tube-like structure. Deeply folded tube-like structure you are going to find. Okay, like this you can find, and you'll also find some structures, tube-like structures outside here, like this. Like this you can make it out. Just to fold this. So these are the tube-like structures, deeply folded tube-like structures. This is how you can draw. This is our endoplasmic reticulum. How it looks like actually endoplasmic reticulum? These are the tube-like structures. Tube-like structures. They are folded around the around nucleus. Present around the nucleus. These are the structures. See here, you can see in a blue color structure, you can see. So this is our here deeply fold tube-like structure. This is one tube. Tubes are, see here, this is a tube. Here also tube. Here tubes are present around the nucleus. Here this is this tube. See here, this very big tube here we have. So tube, one tube here we have. This is also tube. See, it is folded. The tube is folded here. So here also tube. Okay, and you can also see the red color structures on the surface of this. Okay, I told you, right, there is a dense structure inside the nucleus. It's which produces ribosomes, and these ribosomes will comes out of this hole, and once they come out, they'll find a sticky matter here. They'll start sticking on it. Okay, they'll start sticking on the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum. See here, like this, they will stick on the endoplasmic reticulum. They sits on the endoplasmic reticulum and they synthesize the proteins required for the cells, like this. And you can also see some part of the endoplasmic reticulum which is away from the nucleus. See here, I will draw with the red color pen. So this is one tube, and here you can see one more tube. Like this, you will see some tubes which are away from the nucleus, where we are not going to see deposition of the ribosomes. So because of that, see here, this how it looks like. It looks like very rough in nature, right? And see here, this is a very smooth surface. It is looking like very smooth. So that because of this only, endoplasmic reticulum is divided into two types: rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So because of this only, endoplasmic reticulum is divided into two types: rough endoplasmic reticulum, rough ER, or you can say RER, rough endoplasmic reticulum. So here you are going to see on the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum, surface of ER, you are going to find the ribosomes, because this endoplasmic reticulum is a sticky like structure. It is a table like structure, and its surface is very sticky stuffs. It has a sticky surface. So once the ribosome comes out of the nucleus, it will find it finds a sticky surface where it will stick on it. And we do have some part of the endoplasmic reticulum which is away from the nucleus, so where the ribosomes will not be able to come here, because they will stick over here. In this purpose only they will stick. They are not going to come here. So this kind of endoplasmic reticulum looks very smooth. It has got the name called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And they also have a different functions. Okay, so here if we talk about functions, so rough endoplasmic reticulum, as it has ribosomes, it synthesizes the protein. It synthesizes a protein. Main function is to synthesize protein. Endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum produces protein, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum produces lipids mainly. Okay, and these proteins and lipids are packed into a vessel which is going to produce by endoplasmic reticulum only. Endoplasmic reticulum will produce on a vessel, a vessel like structure. So where we are going to fill the endoplasmic reticulum will place this protein and lipids in a transport vessel, and it will send it to the Golgi bodies nearby it. That we will see in the structure later part. Okay, this is called as transport vessels. Transport vessels are produced by endoplasmic reticulum in order to transfer the lipids and proteins to the different cell organelles. I hope you understood this. And if you want to draw, so one more diagram I will show you how to draw this. I hope you understood. One more type you can draw like this if you want to show everything here. So just take a half of the nucleus. Inside the nucleus we have a dense structure. Here ribosomes will produce, and from here you can draw a tubes like structure like this, deeply folded tubes like this. Like this you can see, you are able to see this. Okay, these tubes are folded like this. You can also draw like this. Here also you can draw some endoplasmic reticulum which is away from it. So here you can see, so here deposition of ribosomes which are coming out, and they will come out of the pore and they will stick on the surface here. Everywhere you can stick it, which is nearer to the nucleus. But here you will not find. This is your SCR, this is your RER. The function of RER is to produce protein, and the SCR is to produce lipids, and which are used for manufacturing the cell wall, cell membrane, sorry. Okay, here it is nucleolus, which is responsible for forming ribosomes, because ribosome is a chemical compound. It is made up of chemicals only, and the chemical needed for forming a ribosome, which is filled in the nucleolus. So that's why nucleolus will form the ribosomes. So, and ribosomes will comes out of the nuclear pore. Once they comes out, they find a sticky structure called as endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum you can see here, it is sticky in nature. So where the ribosomes will stick here. See here you can see, find red like structures are sticking on this side. So they will stick on here, and they start synthesizing protein. The main function of the ribosome is to synthesize the protein. Okay, so here you can see blue like structure. This is what we have. It is chromatin. This is our chromatin, and here yellow like structure, which is our nucleolus. I hope you got a clear idea about this. Okay.